What's going on, all you horror movie maniacs out there? Phat Samurai Guy is here with Lady Phatblood, and as you can see, we just
horror edition.
Yeah, horror edition. We just got out of the theater of seeing Call of the Wild, baby.
Jesus. The dog movie with no actual dogs.
Yes. No. We went to go see The Invisible Man.
You had to drag me to this.
Yes, I had to drag.
Because, first of all, I didn't know this movie existed until 3 days ago.
Yes.
I have seen nothing on this. I didn't know that they were remaking The Invisible Man. I have seen zero promotional materials, zero trailers, zero teasers on this, unlike every other goddamn Blumhouse horror movie out there that inundates you with a trailer every single ad you see.
All the time,
with their god-awful, the Hollow Man, the Slender Man.
The Hollow Man.
I'm just saying.
The Bye-Bye Man.
The Bye-Bye Man. Anything you can think of. I'm just throwing out names.
Yeah. Truth or Dare.
I didn't know this existed.
Yeah.
And
now, I seen a teaser like way last year, maybe in the middle of last year, and I saw the teaser, and I remember going, it looks all right. It may not be that bad. I remember thinking that, and I never forgot about it.
Yeah.
But then I did forget that the movie was coming out this year.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, I saw the posting. I was like, oh yeah, that Invisible Man remake, reboot. I didn't know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, you wanna go give it a shot?
Yeah. And just to kind of like precursor all of this prompted you to rewatch the original 1933 Universal classic black and white.
Oh my God, are you talking about old movies?
We are. And you
with no color.
You watching it because you were posting clips and you like told me about it after you rewatched it before you had to go to work.
Yeah.
I was like, well, shit, I gotta watch this now. Believe it or not, I had never watched it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the living hell out of the film.
Yeah.
And it's one of the funniest fucking movies I have ever seen. I can't believe that this is like one of the earliest horror comedies probably in existence. So wacky, so goofy. And I'm like, well, obviously they're not remaking this verbatim.
Right.
So I was really curious. What are they gonna do with this material?
Yeah, I really, really, really love the original with Claude Rains as the role. Just over the top acting and just lovely, pleasant practical effects.
Wacky.
With, for the time, 1933, mind-blowing visual effects too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's primitive now.
Yeah.
But back then, I mean, you just think about it. Like it's still pretty impressive even for today. Some of the shots.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I mean, if you think about it, again, 1933. It's pretty impressive.
But it's definitely a horror comedy. It's laughing from beginning to end.
It's a short movie too.
Yeah, it's pretty short. But I became a huge fan of the movie. I have not seen, and I'm so happy you just recently watched it. Now you're a fan.
Yes.
I have not seen the.
Now it's even spookier. Oh Lord.
The sequel.
I'm so sorry. I'm blinding y'all.
You're always blinding everyone. You have no skin pigment.
Sheet white, and now it's like magnified by the bright spotlight.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm so sorry.
It's perfect. Perfect atmosphere. Speaking of perfect atmosphere.
Jesus.
We're going to get to this movie in a minute, but I have not seen the sequels or anything like that, and I know there's a lot of Invisible Man movies. I didn't know there were that many. The one closest the one closest that I've seen after this is The Hollow Man,
which I haven't seen.
Kevin Bacon, which at the time I enjoyed. I'd like to rewatch it and revisit it, but at the time I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. I thought it was a good movie. I have not seen a sequel to that. I know I have not seen John Carpenter's version of The Invisible Man, his take on it, starring Chevy Chase.
Was it Memoirs?
I think so.
Was that what that was called?
That was the movie that broke John Carpenter. You know that?
Oh, God.
Yeah, because he tried to make a big budget Hollywood type movie, and it was such a horrible experience for him. John Carpenter was like, "Fuck you! I'm going back to being independent film director now."
Damn.
Yeah, because I guess it was a nightmare. Because
Yeah.
Big budget Hollywood. What are you going to do? But I have not seen that. I've always been curious about it with Chevy Chase, though. But now we have this one, and you know, we're not going to do any spoilers.
Yeah.
We're not going to spoil it for you because we highly recommend that you guys go out and see this movie.
Just cut to the chase.
Yeah. Very well done. Very well made.
A very modern take. This is it's like if you're going to remake something, especially I think at this point, Invisible Man 1933, 2020, it's fair game to give it a contemporary modern day spin.
Yeah, do your own thing.
Even though we've had Hollow Man and we've had other films come along. But yeah, I think it's fair game. You know, you've had your remakes like The Thing.
Yes.
And you've had your remakes like The Fly, where you take, and this is how you want, if you're going to do a
classics.
remake, if you're going to do a remake, you want to do it this way. You want to take the bare bones premise, which in this case is a man who can turn invisible.
Yes.
You take that one little tiny nugget of a premise, you pluck it out, and then you create an entirely different story around it. And that's exactly what this film did. This film is told, whereas The Invisible Man 1933 was essentially told from the perspective of the Invisible Man himself, but we are seeing the world around him react to these very bizarre circumstances, which is hilarious.
Yes.
Very exaggerated characters. In this case, we are taken away from that element and we are introduced right off the bat to the main character, who is Elizabeth Moss's character.
Yes.
And we're told the story from her perspective, which I gotta hand it to this movie. For this being a Blumhouse film, I have a feeling they had very little involvement in this. This movie is there's only one instance where they spelled it out for you, and it was very forgivable. And there was very little dumb dialogue, I'll say that. This movie was very respectful of the audience in that it told the story visually.
Yes.
Very, very early on, I was very impressed that the movie trusted us to visually impart knowledge to us.
Yes.
With no dialogue. It was very tense very early on in the film.
Very tense.
We had no dialogue. We didn't know anything about this woman, but I was already very on edge with what she was trying to do for herself.
Yeah, very great, very good suspense building.
Yes.
In this tension building, some of my favorite shots of the film was nothing. We're just showing a doorway.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing impressive.
Yeah.
Just showing a doorway. Showing a hallway.
Yeah.
That's it.
This movie.
The Invisible Man could be there. We don't know.
Yeah, and that's
could be in the kitchen. We don't know.
It's a very long time before you find out why there is an Invisible Man.
Yes.
And I don't want to get into it.
No, we're not going to spoil it.
And it's a long time before you actually... Again, this movie is... Where the original Invisible Man was an hour and 11 minutes. Okay, it was that short.
It was too
it's
short.
not even considered a feature-length film by today's standards. This movie is over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And we discussed this earlier. I am scared for modern-day horror movie audiences that are fans of cheap jump scares like you'll find in The Bye-Bye Man and Slender Man and all that shit.
The Bye-Bye Man and the Truth or Dare crowd audience.
Hellfest. Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna like this movie.
This is not
which is unfortunate.
This kind of film.
It's unfortunate.
All of the jump scares that you get in this movie are 100% earned. And you never get that in modern day horror films anymore. Any of the loud musical stings, it's preambled by these moments of build up and silence and intensity.
All earned.
Yeah.
Go see this movie if you can. Go see this movie with really good sound.
Yeah, we went to an AMC theater, not sponsored, AMC theater with the Dolby system that they had, the actual special beefed up system. The opening credits sequence was shaking our chairs.
Yeah, we didn't know it was that kind of experience.
It was the subwoofer. The subwoofers that they had with the bass that was in the music.
For certain jump scare moments.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The chairs would vibrate, which was fun, which was kind of fun.
But again, I loved, this was a very slow burn film. And
it's a slow burn.
But it was that kind of burn that gives you this sense of anxiety.
Yes.
There's this sense, this unease that I sat with throughout the entirety of the film in the best possible way, because that's what the film was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I will say this without spoiling it as best I can. When the shit starts to go down.
It starts to go down.
And Elizabeth Moss is finally starting to... Obviously, she has to eventually fight back. Eventually.
Yeah.
It is so goddamn satisfying.
Yes.
There's one moment in particular, I will just say, it is so fucking satisfying,
Yes.
especially those first couple of hits where it's just like, oh my God, yes, stab the bastard, but that's neither here nor there right now because I can't talk about it.
Right, this is opening day. Oh, big plus for this movie being R-rated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for this movie being R-rated. I was going to say something, but I can't remember.
In the theater?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you're going?
So,
okay.
This is opening day. We saw the movie maybe around, what time is it?
It was a 4 o'clock showing.
4 o'clock showing.
On a Friday.
On a Friday, all right? This is the big opening weekend. Not really a packed theater.
Of course not. But then the theater was dead when we walked in.
The theater was dead when we walked in.
Including us, there were maybe 15 people.
Yeah. So it's kind of unfortunate. I hope this movie does not bomb.
There was a silver lining.
Yes.
They were a very vocal 15 people.
Yeah.
They were reacting to things going down. There were a couple of moments that were like, oh, gotcha. And it was like, you got me and you got the other audience members. And to sit in a horror movie theater audience, like to sit amongst horror people, that you're not sitting in a jump scare factory type of film where it's building legitimate suspense and anxiety and tension and all that, to have those moments pay off and hear audience members react. That was gratifying for me, and I had nothing to do with making this movie, but I was like sitting there going, yes, people are into it. They're actually giving a shit. And that made me happy because I felt like this is the type of film that deserves that kind of reaction.
Yeah. And it wasn't really visual. There were a few dialogue moments where words were being said.
That's true.
And the audience was like,
surprise.
oh, fuck.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So
very, very nice to see that it exists.
The soundtrack is fucking great.
Very good, and I've never heard of
this
this
soundtrack is fucking
before.
great. Blumhouse, it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss with Blumhouse. But my reaction was, I was thinking of Universal, horror movie, classic horror icon properties, right? You got the Creature of the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, Dracula, all that stuff, right? Wolfman. So when the Universal logo popped up, I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? And then right after that, it was Blumhouse. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. I turned to her, I was like, I'm sorry.
It's true.
But, hey,
they got a
really well-made, great movie.
They got to win this time.
We got to give the props.
Good job.
So, soundtrack was great. Acting performances were great. The visual elements is nothing mind-blowing.
No.
But it does its job.
Yeah.
It does its job.
I haven't verified the budget on this, but I have my suspicions that this was not a big budget movie.
Right.
And I feel like they probably used what they could. They probably did a little bit practical here and there. But obviously you'd have to use some CGI.
Yeah.
And what they did with CGI, again, it was standard. But in this type of movie, I didn't care.
It wasn't really.
It was not about, look at me, look what I can do. T-1000 groundbreaking for the day for 1991 standards. It's not about that.
It was solid. It did its job.
Yeah, and for a movie like this being released to a mainstream theater, to have a mainstream release like that's what I'm trying to say. To have a mainstream release, being an R-rated horror film, to be a movie like this, to be respectful of the audience, to have a solid story, have solid performances, have solid characters that, with very few exceptions, you actually give a damn about. To have these genuine moments of build-up and pack a punch when they deserve it and when they earn it. I'm stunned that this movie got made and that it ended up as well as it did.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't bomb. I have a bad feeling. Maybe it'll do better on video.
I don't know.
Maybe it'll find its audience. So again, before we wrap it up, it's actually kind of a short video this time.
Hey, what do you know?
No spoilers.
It's a possibility for us.
Anything else in terms of plot without spoiling it?
Not really. I didn't see the trailers, so I don't know if the trailer will sum it up.
Yeah. It kind of does a little.
Okay.
If you've seen the trailer.
Then there you go.
Yeah.
Then that's all you really need to know.
But the less you know.
I'm glad I didn't know anything about it.
If you have not seen the trailer or teaser, don't.
I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Just go in blind like she did.
I'm happy I went in blind.
And watched the film.
It was great watching the original as a point of reference to know this this existed, and then have this completely different thing come in.
It's so nice. It's so nice to get a modern day horror movie that gets a mainstream release that's so well done.
Yeah.
It's just a nice feeling, man.
Yes.
Because we got too many fucking Slender Mans.
And Bye-Bye Mans.
And fucking...
Hellfests and shit. I will never let it go, fuckers. Never gonna happen. Fuck you, Enid. I love you.
Yeah, I apologize. That was my bad. We started something on the channel called Gag Gifts. Get something to torture your friend, someone you love, to torture someone you love.
Do it.
That's how you show you love.
It's not worth it.
It's kind of a joke gift.
It's not funny.
And I got some stuff for her, and I suffered for it. I got beat up. And then our boy Neenan from Germany sent her a Blu-ray brand new fresh copy.
Oh, and that fucker is going to stay sealed.
Hellfest.
Don't think for one goddamn second I'm ever watching that bullshit again.
But anyway, again, we highly recommend you guys see this film, and for shits and giggles, watch the original.
Oh,
1933 is so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's so wacky. Oh my god, the movie's a classic.
Anything else on the film before?
No,
everything's good.
Please consider going to see it.
Yes.
But just remember, it's not a jump scare a minute.
Yes.
It's not a scare a minute.
It's not a non-stop action thrill ride.
It is a
type
slow
of movie.
burn,
Yes.
well-earned,
Yes.
anxiety-driven.
Yes.
Slow. Again, slow. Emphasis on the slow. You have to have patience with this movie.
That was the first thing I said. As soon as the credits started to go up, I turned to her, and the very first thing I said was, the jump scare audience, the Bye Bye Man, and Happy Death Day. Well, not Happy Death Day, but
we've heard those.
Slender Man and that type of audience. They're probably gonna hate this movie.
Yeah.
To say it's boring or fall asleep, or they'll be like, eh. So.
Yeah.
But if you appreciate really good, well-made, well-earned, modern-day horror films, for the fuck's sake, definitely give this one a try.
And there's some things suspend your disbelief just a little bit here and there. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of science, a little bit of science techie stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit of implausibilities.
Well, it's not like in the original it was explained in detail.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying because this is a more modern take, and people with modern sensibilities, you can't have a Beauty and the Beast movie without explaining away every goddamn thing that people had a problem with the original fucking fairy tale. I'm just saying.
We went off track again.
No, I'm just saying you got to suspend it a little bit, because not everything's going to be 100% realistic. I'm just saying.
Right.
Some people, they're going to say, oh, you rated it so highly, but this is inaccurate, and she'd never get away with this, and this and that. No, just suspend. Just a little bit. Just a little.
Just a little. Not too much though, because the movie was so
It's not
well made.
outlandish. The first one was outlandish in a wonderful way.
All right. Have we done with the movie? Okay. Rating.
4.5.
Woo!
I dug it. It was
4.5 out of 5.
Way too well made.
Chainsaws.
For its own good. It should not have been this good and effective. I was feeling anxiety in the pit of my stomach watching this.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. And that's very hard to pull off. I'm going to give it... You give it 4.5?
Yeah.
4.4.
Cool.
For me, 4.4.
All right.
Highly recommend you guys check it out. Let us know in the comments below if you guys have seen Invisible Man. And we see you badasses next time. You guys take care.
I'll warn you guys. You know what? In the description below, warn them to wear sunglasses when they watch this, because of me.
Future videos will now be labeled.
For your own eye protection, be sure to wear Lady Phatblood approved sunglasses, because bitch will blind you.
He's checking guys out later, man.
I'm sorry.
Check us out later. We'll see you guys later. Bye.